All rise.
Hello, I'm Chief Justice Lori Gilday from the Minnesota Supreme Court. On behalf of the Minnesota Judicial Branch and the people of Minnesota, thank you for responding to your summons for jury duty. I cannot overstate the importance of your service. The right to a trial before a jury of our peers originates in the United States Constitution. Thomas Jefferson is reported to have said that trial by jury is the only anchor ever yet imagined by which a government can be held to the principles of its Constitution. As a prospective juror, you are now a part of the anchor that helps to ensure that we remain tethered to the promises of our Constitution. I hope you find this experience educational and rewarding. The information that follows will help to answer your questions, help you understand what is happening around you, and prepare you to serve as a juror to the best of your ability. Thank you for your valuable time and willingness to help us ensure a fair and impartial court system for all Minnesotans. Our system of justice depends on your involvement. Thank you so very much.
If this is your first jury experience, you may be unfamiliar with the court system. All eligible people are expected and welcome to serve on juries.
Well, I see we found the right place.
Thanks. Have you ever done this before?
No, never. How about you?
First time for me too.
Under Minnesota law, no citizen shall be excluded from jury service on account of race, color, creed, religion, sex, national origin, marital status, status with regard to public assistance, disability, age, occupation, sexual orientation, or economic status. You will be asked to judge the facts of the case and decide which facts are most credible. As jurors, you play an essential role in the justice system.
We got there.
That's my summons.
Looks like I need to help you here.
Each year, more than 185,000 Minnesotans are summoned for jury service.
You can check in over at the kiosk.
Your name and the names of every prospective juror are randomly selected from a list of all licensed drivers, state ID holders, and registered voters.
Good morning. On behalf of the Minnesota Judicial Branch, we welcome you here today. I am the jury manager. Some of you may have served as a juror or have been in a courtroom before. For many of you, this time will be filled with new experiences that may make a lasting impression on you regarding the judicial system. If this is your first jury experience, you may be unsure about what is to come and what may be asked of you. Plan to spend time waiting for case assignment and jury selection. There's a lot happening while you wait. Judges are often dealing with multiple cases and hearings in a day, while parties are often motivated to resolve disputes outside of the courtroom when the pressure of a waiting jury exists. Let me take a moment to explain a little bit about the jury system and your role in it.
The state of Minnesota recognizes that jury service can be an inconvenience for you. We hope you recognize that your commitment of time is every citizen's duty. During jury service, you may be asked to wait. During this time, the judge and lawyers are working hard on the cases. Please know that your availability for service, even as you wait for case assignment, is as vitally important to the resolution of cases as the trials themselves. Courthouses may have phones, magazines, Wi-Fi, and other amenities for your use. You may also want to bring something of your own to do while you wait.
The following people have been assigned on a jury trial. Xander Everett.
When a case is ready to be tried, you may be called in a small group known as a jury panel. Court staff will take you to your assigned courtroom. There are two types of cases to which you may be assigned, civil or criminal. A civil case is typically an action brought by a plaintiff seeking money damages or other relief. A criminal case is one where a person is accused of committing a crime. In a civil case, it is your job as a juror to decide which party should prevail, based on the law and the amount of damages, if any, that will be awarded. In a criminal case, Jurors decide whether the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed the crime charged. The number of jurors needed for the trial will depend on the type of case it is.
Please stand and raise your right hand. You do swear that you will truthfully answer all questions about your qualifications to serve as a juror, so help you God.
In the courtroom, you will see the court clerk, who administers the oaths to the jurors and to the witnesses before they testify, and keeps a record of all exhibits. The prosecuting attorney represents the state in a criminal case. In a civil case, there is a plaintiff's attorney representing the person who brought the lawsuit. The defense attorney represents the defendant. In a criminal case, the defendant is the person charged with the crime. In a civil case, the defendant is the person being sued. You may see a law enforcement officer who maintains court security. The court reporter records what is said in the courtroom.
All rise. District Court is now in session. The Honorable Japal Harris presiding.
Please be seated.
The judge presides over the trial, determines what evidence and testimony is admissible, and instructs you throughout the trial on the law to be applied in this case.
There are two judges in the courtroom. I am the judge of the law, and you, the jury, are the judges of the fact. We are here to pick an impartial jury in order to ensure a fair and impartial trial.
Before every trial, there is a jury selection process known as voir dire. During jury selection, the judge and the attorneys interview each juror about their background and life experiences.
It will be necessary for the attorneys and I to ask you questions.
What is your current occupation?
And we ask that you answer them truthfully.
What do you do with that?
Please do not take offense to any of the questions you are asked. Your contribution to this serious matter is best assured by your honest and truthful answers to all of the questions.
Some of these
Have you
questions
ever
can
been
be
the victim
very
of a crime?
personal and
Yes,
may
I
be
have.
difficult for
Can
some
you describe
jurors.
what happened?
Yes, it was.
The intent
3
is
years
not to
ago. I was
pry,
on campus
but to
and
establish
someone stole my
fairness
bike.
and impartiality for both sides regarding the case to be tried. Jury selection is a process of determining impartiality for that particular case.
The following jurors excused from further consideration of this case: Xander Everly.
Some members of the jury panel will be excused from serving on the jury.
And if you are excused, it does not mean that anyone doubts that you are a fair person.
Oh, I see you're back from the courtroom.
I was excused.
If you are
Well,
excused
go
from the
ahead,
jury
have a
panel,
seat.
you may be selected to serve on another trial. If you are selected for a trial, your job is to listen and pay close attention to the
Raise your right
facts
hand.
presented in the
You
case.
do swear that the testimony you give during this proceeding will be true and accurate, to the best of your ability, so help you God.
I do.
And how
You are
long
responsible
have you
for
been-
impartially evaluating the facts of the
How long have you
case.
been her neighbor?
About 10.
So remember carefully what you hear and see.
Is she friendly?
She is friendly.
You may take notes, but it's important that you stay attentive and listen.
Oh, that's actually what I really want to talk about.
I offer these photographs.
You will not be given a
to
transcript of
evidence
the
exhibits
trial,
5 through
so you
7.
will have to rely on your memory
The
during
witness has
deliberations.
testified that these photographs fairly and accurately depict the scene at the time of the event.
Later, it will be up to you to use the evidence you have heard to arrive at a verdict.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
There are certain rules of conduct that you must follow throughout the case. You play a critical role in ensuring that all parties receive a fair trial. It is essential that your decisions be based solely on the information you receive in the courtroom. Do not discuss the case with other jurors, even when on breaks. You are not allowed to discuss the case with other jurors until your deliberations begin. If you hear other jurors talking about the case, tell the clerk or court staff. Do not talk about the case to anyone, or let anyone talk to you about the case. This includes your family, friends, court staff, and the media before or during your service. Do not receive or send electronic communications about the case. This includes texting, emailing, messaging, blogging, any kind of social media activity, or any other communications to discuss or even mention this case. Do not seek outside information about anything or anyone connected with the case, including searching the internet or social media. Do not watch, read, or listen to news or other media coverage about the case on the internet, television, in newspapers or other publications, or on social media. These rules are important. If these rules are not followed, the whole trial may need to start over from the beginning. With more than 290 trial judges in 87 Minnesota counties, there will be slight differences in how each judge conducts a trial. It is important that you follow the judge's instructions at all times.
We will take a short recess, after which we will hear closing arguments.
Hi. Still here?
Yeah, I'm still waiting.
Since the trial cannot start until the full jury is present, you must be on time. Sit in the same seat in the jury box during the trial. This allows the judge, the clerk, and the attorneys to distinguish you. If you have questions, a problem, or an emergency, ask the clerk or court staff.
Members of the jury, soon you will go and deliberate. Although this isn't the kind of case that will make headlines, your role is critically important.
After all the evidence has been received and the attorneys have presented their closing arguments, the judge will instruct you on the law to be applied to the case.
Now that the trial has concluded, we are moving on to jury instructions. Jury instructions define the rules that you, the jury, must follow. Let me give you those general rules.
The final stage of the trial is jury deliberation. In the deliberation room, you will be left to yourselves in absolute secrecy to make a final judgment based on the facts of the case.
We need to select a four-person. Is there anyone who
The
is
foreperson
interested?
oversees the deliberation. This person
Anyone
makes
else?
sure the discussion
I'd like
stays
to
focused on the facts of the case and helps facilitate a decision. A lifetime of experience has shaped your judgments, both good and bad. We all have biases. No matter how unbiased we think we are, our brains are hardwired to make unconscious decisions because the number of choices we face every day would be overwhelming if we had to consciously evaluate every single one. You are responsible for impartially evaluating the facts of the case. So remember carefully what you hear and see. Take the time you need to make the right decision. It is important to be self-aware about your biases to truly ensure a fair trial. In a criminal case, the verdict of the jury must be unanimous. In a civil case, if a verdict has not been reached within 6 hours, it is only necessary that a certain number of jurors reach a verdict, as the judge will have instructed you.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, please listen carefully as I read the verdict. In the matter of the state of Minnesota versus the defendant, we, the jury, find the defendant.
On behalf of the attorneys, the parties, and my colleagues on the bench, thank you for your service as jurors. Our system of justice would not work without your service as jurors. You may be excused.
All rise.
Well, it has been really nice meeting you.
I thought it was interesting. I'm really glad I did it.
We did our civic duty.